A reading from the Acts of the Apostles. Peter proceeded to speak and said, "You know what has happened all over Judea, beginning in Galilee after the baptism that John preached, how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and power. He went about doing good and healing all those opposed by the devil, for God was with him. We are witness of all that he did, both in the country of the Jews and in Jerusalem. They put him to death by hanging him on a tree. This man God raised on the third day and granted that he be visible, not to all people, but to us, the witnesses chosen by God in advance, who ate and drank with him after he rose from the dead. He commissioned us to preach to the people and testify that he is the one appointed by God as judge of the living and the dead. To him, all the prophets bear witness that everyone who believes in him will receive forgiveness of sins through his name." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians. Brothers and sisters, if then you were raised with Christ, seek what is above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Think of what is above, not of what is on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ your life appears, then you too will appear with him in glory. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven, approached, and rolled back the stone, and sat upon it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing was white as snow. The guards were shaken with fear of him. They became like dead men. Then the angel said to the women in reply, "Do not be afraid. I know you are seeking Jesus the crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him. Behold, I have told you." Then they went away quickly from the tomb, fearful yet overjoyed, and ran to announce this to the disciples. And behold, Jesus met them on their way and greeted them. They approached, embraced his feet, and did him homage. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers and my sisters to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." The Gospel of the Lord. So there are two types of people in church today. Not what you think. The two types of people in church today are those who get Lenten amnesia and admit it, and those who get Lenten amnesia and lie about it. What is Lenten amnesia? Lenten amnesia is that moment when you, for whatever reason, you just have a total brain freeze and you forget, this is what I gave up for Lent. And you do it and you think, oh gosh, Or this is the thing that I'm going to start doing, and then you don't do it. You know, and we all have our sort of our more superficial Lenten observances, and then sort of the more profound and transformational. Well, for me, one of the the simple, superficial one came to me as if in a vision. I was off visiting my friends, this wonderful family, the Felicias. They lived not too far away from here. And I was on my way driving back and forth to the Felicias, and I realized I wanted to give up junk food for Lent. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. Until I was standing in the kitchen one day, and our youth minister walked in, and I'm standing, there was somebody, some sinner, left a bowl of M&Ms on the counter, and I completely wasn't even thinking about it. And he walked in, he said, "I smell chocolate breath," and that was like 30 feet away. I must have had like chocolate dinosaur breath. And I'm eating the things, and I can't believe I did it, you know, how stupid. Lenten amnesia. The other one was one that occurred on a Friday, the week before that even, if you can get a load of this. Wake up, I hear Father Mauricio close the door first thing, and he heads out to work at 5:30 in the morning. And that's usually my signal to rise and shine. And I get up and I throw my frozen junk into the frozen sandwich thing into the microwave, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. It's supposed to be a meat-like substance, you know what I mean? And once again, take the big bite out of it, chewing it down, standing there at the coffee pot and think, let's see, what's on the schedule for today? Today's Friday. And at that point, I just had to give up, you know what I mean? Like, what's happened? Lenten amnesia was particularly bad. So then, you know, in order to punish yourself for messing up that one day, you got to take the next, 6 days, no meat. And as I told you, on Ash Wednesday, I wake up on Ash Wednesday and I think of one thing, year after year after year. Now, one thing is pork chops. Like, I just can't quit. I haven't had a pork chop in 15 years, but it's all I can think about on Ash Wednesday, right? Unfortunately, that's not subject to amnesia. I got to have a pork chop today, right? So we get it, and it happens, and we do our best, and we recover. But then as Lent ends, we move into Easter, and Easter season has its own brand of amnesia. It's not quite as entertaining or obnoxious, but it's there for sure. And Easter amnesia is that thing that reduces me to thinking that what happened, happened, and that's it. Like there was this great experience of Jesus was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. He rose from the dead on the third day. And then it kind of all just drifted away, and he went to heaven, and that's sort of the end of it. That Easter amnesia is the thing that makes me forget that he's alive and well and glorified and involved in my life today. Today. The resurrected, glorified Christ knows your name, loves you, and is involved in your life today. And we can't get used to something so right sometimes, right? And we're not alone. The scriptures today remind us that even those who knew him most, even those who knew him best, those who heard it right from his mouth, that I will be back, even they didn't get it. We're in good company, friends. And so it is in the Acts of the Apostles in the first reading today, where Luke, the author of Acts of the Apostles, tells the people, you know what? After he died and rose from the dead, we ate and drank with him. And this was shocking to them, as we know from other places in Acts of the Apostles. They could not begin to get their heads around the truth that he was alive and well and loved them and involved in their lives. This was shocking. True God, true man, back from the dead, glorified, resurrected, setting the way for all of us. Boy, they could not begin to believe that. He's alive and well now. Not just a memory. In the second reading today from Colossians, we know that involvement in our life isn't something that's about to end. Not only is he alive and well now, but he will be there. If we have died with Christ, we will rise with Christ. And we will share in his resurrection, and he will bring us to glory. Notice in Colossians today that reminder that we are on our way to glory. He's risen from the dead. We have been baptized as his disciples. We are now pointed up the glory road, and that glory road ends in glory. And there we will meet him face to face. And he'll be alive and well then as he is now. It's the real deal. It's not a fairy tale. It's not as if there's some great metaphor going on there. No, he's alive and well now, and he knows your name, and he loves you, and he will be doing that when you die. And then he'll be doing that when we're all resurrected from the dead at the end of history. Paul had to tell people this about 75 times because they couldn't get used to the idea. Over and over and over again, he had to keep clobbering them over the head. I know, you guys, it's really hard to believe. And sometimes we feel like we know it and then we forget it. But it's true. Don't forget it. He's alive and well now. Loves you, knows your name, is active in your life. And that news was astonishing in the gospel. Again, Mary Magdalene on her way to the tomb. One who we might expect that she should know, of course. And the other guys, well, Peter, you don't expect much of him sometimes. Kidding. But Mary Magdalene, she knew it. And she went to see the tomb, and then there's this shocking news of there's the angel. And not only is he not dead, he's alive and well and loves you and knows your name and wants to be with you. And so the angel says, go to Galilee, hurry up, get on, go on, scram, get along, move. He's aching to be with you up in Galilee, so get there, hurry up, don't waste time. And then the two of them have the blessing, the two women have the blessing to know, yeah, here he is right here in front of us. I thought, wait, we had to go to Galilee, and here you are. Couldn't get it into it just was too good to be true. But it was true, and it is true, and it will be true. He's alive now. It wasn't as if he just came back from the dead 2,000 years ago, rose up into heaven, and then just sort of dissipated, right? Not that we believe that. We know it up here, but sometimes our operant walk around heart memory doesn't tell us that. Our hearts get that Easter amnesia. And friend, when it seems like the Easter amnesia might get the better of us, just look into your choices, look into your habits, and notice the ways in which he is alive and well in your life right now. How do you know he's alive and well in your life right now? Well, there are 101 different ways to approach it, but I'll ask you just to look at one way. Look at the habits in your life that are so much a part of your life, you don't even notice them probably, but they are the habits that glorify God. They are the habits that reflect that voice that the Vatican Council said, listen to that voice in your heart. It's the voice of the Savior, glorified, resurrected. That voice says, quote, go this way or do not go that way. For those of you who are regulars, you know that we speak of 3 ways of living out our discipleship according to our baptisms. We do it as priests. Every baptized person here is a lowercase p priest. You're a person of prayer. You speak to God and you listen to God. Every baptized person here is a prophet. In the model of the Old Testament, you are a person who challenges others and consoles others. Every person here is also, by virtue of your baptism, a king, a monarch, a queen, whatever you want to call it. You are one who builds up the community. And so I'd ask you to think it through. Jesus Christ is alive and well and active in your life today. Jesus Christ inspires many of the choices you make, and you make them so well and so frequently you don't even notice them. So knock it off, step back, notice those habits of yours that are truly inspired in prayer, in service, and in building up the community. Friends, I could go around and charge all sorts of people, some of whom I've known a longer time and some of whom not so much. People who've taken extraordinary care of relatives when they were sick. Talk about consoling and praying for and building up the community. Young people in your athletic endeavors who you know that you're praying sincerely, not just don't let me get embarrassed, but you realize you're using all those gifts that God has given you and you want to use them well. The musicians, the artists, the athletes, the students, all of them. That's one of those habits. You're making great use of the talents God has given you, and it causes you to pray and to build up community and to console and to challenge others. It's not a long ago, far away idea, and I know that you don't think it is. until we stop and notice. Wow, maybe sometimes I do think that. I'm not really thinking I think that, but I think it, if you know what I mean by that thinking. He's alive. He's well. He's glorified. He's resurrected. He's never going to die. He loves you. He's involved in your life right now. And one of the best bits of evidence of that involvement is the way he energizes you to make inspired choices in prayer, in service, and in community. So what's your evidence? Someone said to you, so how do you know he's alive? You can say, I know I'm good, but I'm not that good. Because on my own, I wouldn't make this choice, but with his grace and his love, I do. What are those choices? Now, friends, I love Easter. I got my weapon. Remove your glasses, cover your hearing aids. It's that moment when we get to affirm our baptisms, when we profess our faith by way of renewing our baptismal vows. And you'll feel the water, and if you don't, raise your hand, and I'll make sure you do. It's that tactile reminder that, yeah, I'm his disciple. It's that tactile reminder that says, yeah, I'm a baptized person. It's that tactile reminder that says, you know what, Lord, I know you're alive and well. You're glorified and you're resurrected. You love me and you know my name. And Lord, thank you for inspiring me to make those choices that glorify you. Because if it weren't for you being alive and well and active and knowing my name, I wouldn't be doing it. Proof for the existence of God in your choices. What's on your list? Feel the water, renew the commitment. He's alive and well, loves you and knows your name, and he inspires your choices. Just look. So Easter amnesia. Yeah, I think he came back to life. What? Yeah, he came back to life. He was resurrected, glorified, brought back from the dead, and he's still alive, and he's well, and he's glorified, and he's resurrected, and he knows your name, and he loves you, and he influences your choices all the time. Just look at some of the most inspired choices in your life. So the varsity challenge, the varsity level challenge, is to notice in your own life those choices where you can say, yeah, I'm good, but I'm not that good. Those choices, those habits, the way I take care of other people, the way I love others, the way I forgive, in prayer, in service, and in community, as priest and prophet, as king. Those choices, those habits are evidence of God's work, Jesus Christ alive and well and glorified and resurrected and loving you and influencing you today, now. What's on your list? And the double varsity challenge? The double varsity challenge? Tell someone else about the beautiful stuff they do that reminds you that Jesus Christ is alive and well and knows their name and loves them and influences their choices. Tell someone else about those beautiful habits of theirs that remind you that God is alive and well and the resurrection wasn't just a one-day deal. Take the challenge. Giddy up. There's going to be a big traffic jam out there in front of church because nobody gets by until they tell me at least one of the ways they know that Jesus Christ is alive and well. So you better be ready or the people behind you will be very angry. Let us pray. Happy Easter.